my right honourable friend for giving way. We've just heard that one of the justifications for capping these benefits at 1% is because allegedly benefits have risen significantly higher than wages. In that case, would it not be wise for the government to introduce a measure which says that benefits should not rise higher than average wage inflation?
Well, as I say, this bill, and I say to my honourable friend, this bill is about trying to bring that process back in and fairness to the process of welfare and payments. The reality, as my honourable friend said earlier on, is that if you look at it over the period since the beginning of the recession, payments for those in work have risen by about 10%, and for those who are on benefits have risen by about 20%. So what we're trying to do is, over the next few years, get that back into a fair settlement, and eventually it'll go back onto inflation. So I understand the point he's making. I'll give way to him again.
Grateful to my right honourable friend, but of course we don't know, and I don't know, he's probably more clairvoyant than I am, that as to what will be food price inflation, for example, in 2016. And we're at this stage being asked to predict what the circumstances are going to be in this rather arbitrary figure of 1%. And I'm simply urging my right honourable friend to keep an open mind on that and to actually have some means by which we will uprate, which is both fair to those benefit recipients and fair to those who are in work.
Accept the point about it being fair, and that's exactly the point that I'm making. But the reality is, this is also about getting the overall welfare bill down and in kilter. The reality, I said earlier on, and I said on the radio, and I said again today, is that the key at the heart of this is that we have to also reduce the deficit. And I remind him, and they joined us in the coalition, that the #1 priority that we face here is reducing the deficit that they left us. The biggest deficit on record of any government since the Second World War. This is the reality. That is what they're in denial about. So I will move on. So the reality is that doing affordability, I'll give way in a minute, I just want to make some progress. I've done, I think, quite reasonable. First and foremost, under Labour, public spending spiralled out of control. Yes, it did, leaving behind the UK's largest ever peacetime deficit, interest payments running at 120 million a day. Isn't it interesting, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that as soon as you speak about what they left behind, they go into denial? They try and shout you down because they don't like the sound of it. The reality is, neither the Shadow Chancellor, no, I'll give way in a minute, Shadow Chancellor and what used to be the Chief Secretary both deny that they left a problem. It was a nightmare, and they should apologise and tell us what they would do to put it right. And the reality is, Mr. Speaker, I'll give way again,